If you care to search, you'll undoubtedly find some very amusing TikTok videos made about the hullabaloo TikTok has been causing lately. Last week, it was banned from Australian government phones and devices, deemed a risk to national security because of its Chinese ownership. That's upset the local arm of TikTok, who maintain their app is harmless fun, not a spy tool. It's also outraged the, albeit easily outraged, Chinese Communist Party, which is once again warning us not to treat Beijing as the enemy.
But she moves like lightning, and she counts to 3.
For all its fun and frivolity, TikTok is in some serious strife. The world's fastest growing social media platform suddenly curtailed by a series of bans on government devices in the US and Canada, across Europe, then here in Australia.
This has been informed by security agencies' advice on work that's been done and provided to governments.
The Chinese-owned video sharing giant has been declared a risk to our national security, which, not surprisingly, has infuriated Beijing.
Many people in China consider such bans by foreign countries to be a laughingstock because it reveals their weaknesses and inferiority rather than their strengths and superiority. That's the big loss for countries like Australia.
Former diplomat Victor Gao is an expert in Chinese affairs and an unofficial mouthpiece for the communist regime.
Falsified and inflated national security concerns should be avoided. And probably it's racism, probably it's racial discrimination, probably it's banning Chinese again, which, was a disaster many years ago. Now you want to do that again? It will not be a success.
To be fair, I think there's no suggestion of racism against the Chinese people. The concern is what the Chinese government could do with our data. Those are two very different things.
I think Australians need to be really confident about their own system rather than being threatened by TikTok. It's amazing.
It's the sheer amount of personal information that TikTok harvests that has raised concerns.
I think most people would think TikTok's just like any other app.
It's very different for two reasons. Because of where TikTok comes from, it's owned by ByteDance. ByteDance is a China-founded company. They have a very different approach to privacy in China to what we do. And the second thing is we looked at the application itself, and the app collects more data than other social media apps, aside from apps that were built in Russia.
Few people have an understanding of this video-sharing juggernaut quite like Robert Potter. He's boss of Australian cybersecurity and intelligence firm Internet 2.0, the company that cracked the source code of TikTok.
So they said they didn't collect GPS location data, and we saw that they were heavily collecting location data. They said they didn't collect the device ID, like the actual identity of each user and their phone. Well, we saw that. And one of the big things that we saw was TikTok specifically said that they don't have any user data in China. And we saw that when we studied the application, that it was regularly connecting to Chinese servers.
So when TikTok says we don't have a server on mainland China, that is not true.
That's definitely not true.
TikTok mines a trove of your most precious private information. Every hour, it pinpoints exactly where you are. It knows the biometrics of your face and the characteristics of your voice. It can access your contacts and information on the other apps you're running. But that is just a tiny part of the data TikTok gathers.
It can collect your keystroke patterns or rhythms, body language, face and body features, access to your clipboard. So that could be photos that are stored in memory in your phone. It could be your passwords that are stored in memory in your phone. Over time, they've built out the amount of collection that they do. So on the latest version of the app, there is a super location field that allows them to collect which direction you're facing, how fast you're moving, how high off the ground you are, your latitude and longitude.
This is unbelievable. Is there anything they don't know about us?
No.
The fear is that China's draconian national security laws could see our data accessed by Chinese intelligence, and we'd never know. But Victor Gao reckons the West is being paranoid.
If the concern is about data security, this is a legitimate concern, and the government regulators need to come up with foolproof arrangements to make sure that privacy and data sensitivities will be taken care of, rather than demonizing TikTok. TikTok is an innovative company, and it deserves to be protected rather than being demonized.
At the moment, I think there are no guarantees that ByteDance, the Chinese government, won't access Australian or American, for that matter, personal information.
Well, if you follow your logic, no electronic device will be safe, because if you generalize national security concerns, you actually see devils everywhere.
TikTok's boss in Australia, Lee Hunter, agrees. He insists the backlash is being driven by politics, not fact.
It's really important that Aussies understand that the most important thing to us is keeping their user data safe and secure and respecting their privacy.
But if the CCP or someone from the CCP or the Chinese government or national intelligence asked for that data, we wouldn't know about it.
If they asked for that data, we wouldn't give it to them.
Well, they wouldn't ask you, they'd take it.
I think we need to be careful about how we work with China, but at the end of the day, TikTok is not China. We're an entertainment platform. We're about giving people interesting videos in their day.
In this digital showdown, the US is leading the charge.
TikTok is the spy in Americans' pockets.
Lawmakers pushing for an outright ban on the app unless ByteDance sells off TikTok. What happens next could have far-reaching implications.
I think banning TikTok and forcing fire sale of TikTok is not a sign of strength. It's just the opposite.
So you think we're making ourselves look bad, look inferior?
Absolutely. I would also urge the Australian government to really treat China as an equal, because you do not want to have an enemy with 1.4 billion people. That's really the nightmare you want to avoid. We do not need to love each other. We just need to get along with each other. That's the point for China-Australian relations.
Hello, I'm Amelia Adams. Thanks for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for our brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minute segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.